When I was 21, I got a job in RTE, the national broadcaster in Ireland. I was so impressed with myself. I thought I was the bee's knees. 21, boom, I've arrived, done it. There was a guy who worked in RTE at the time. You may have heard of him. His name was Jerry Ryan. Jerry Ryan was maybe in his 30s at that stage, an absolute legend at that point in time, already a legend. Everybody knew Jerry Ryan, everybody had an opinion on Jerry Ryan. There was one day before my radio show and I'm sitting in the canteen in RTE, having a cup of tea, a little biscuit, digestive, you have to know. And I look out of the corner of my eye and I see this shape coming towards me and I just knew. It's Jerry Ryan. I'd never met him before, right? Never met the man, but I heard all about him. So I see the shape go and I think, just walk by me, this is too intimidating. But no, he doesn't walk by me. The shape gets closer and it stops. So I'm like, okay. So I look up. All right, Jerry. Jerry looks down at me, he's a big man. He looks down at me, in more ways than one. He said, nails. I'm like, yeah, that's me. And he said, can I give you a bit of advice? What am I going to say? No. So yeah, of course you give me a bit of advice. He says, next time you're on air, try pull back from the microphone a little bit. And with that, he was gone. Now, pulling back from the microphone is very simple radio technique, right? All it is, you got your microphone here. Obviously you speak into it like that. Pulling back literally means to pull back. So the effect it has on the listener is when you speak into the microphone like that, when you pull back, you do a little bit like that, and then you go back into the microphone. That's all it is. It's not a massive trick. It's just a little skill. And it worked. And it was the first time I, on purpose, asked myself the question, why? Why does that work? I'm a very curious person. I annoy people with the question, why? Why did that work? And it was just a very simple thing. It creates the sense of movement so that the listener can not only hear your words, but they get a sense of the physicality of your words as well. So you're moving around a little bit, okay? So that was good. My first question, why, on purpose. Okay, flash forward 10 years. I'm the grizzled radio veteran now, and all these fresh-faced whippersnappers are coming up to me, asking me questions, and trying to find out, how does this work? How does that work? And I'm happy to answer questions, because it turns out I knew the answers to most of them. And if I didn't, I lied. But I knew the answers to most of the questions. And I used to really enjoy when people would ask me questions. And then I went, I wonder why? Why do I enjoy this? What is it about this? And again, not a massive revelation about who I am as a human being. I just like helping people. And that's all it was. But I got to that point, that little point, by asking myself why. And it became such a big why with me that I made a career out of it. I coach radio presenters primarily as a career. Other presenters as well, but mostly radio presenters. So it made me feel good. And the great thing about asking questions is you're putting the person in a position where they have to think about themselves. Let's say you're teaching history, and there's a certain person in the audience, and you say to them, why are you here? And they say, I'm here to learn history. Good answer. Why do you want to learn history? Because I'm interested in the past. Brilliant answer. Can't argue with that. Why are you interested in the past? I'm interested in how the past influences the present and possibly the future. Brilliant. Why are you interested in that? I'll keep asking why till I get to where I'm going. And eventually someone might say, well, my background when I was growing up wasn't so great, so I'm interested in putting the points together. Bam. Suddenly you have a reason. And a real reason, and a personal reason for why you're there. It's not just, I like history, and I like facts, and I like dates. There's a connection, a personal connection between you and what you're studying. And when we talk about you, we're making it personal. When I'm coaching radio presenters, I get them to change one word to make it about the listener. We have the word I, and we have the word you. So it's little word, big word, little word, big word. I and you. I'll give you an example. If I go on the radio and I say, I got into my car today and I drove to work. Okay, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, right? Yeah, I'll get my car, drove to work. However, the listener can't picture that in their head. And communication is all about painting pictures and making it about the other person. So if I change the I to you, and if I say, you know when you get in your car, and you know when you go to work. Now the listener is involved because they see their car, they see their work. Now they're in it. their pictures, all their experiences, everything they've done in life has led up to them driving that car, going to that place of work. They now own that piece of audio that has come out of my mouth. It's now about them. And the great thing about it is, it taps into another human trait, and that is every human being, which thankfully we all happen to be in this room, every human being loves to talk about themselves. We adore talking about ourselves. It's our favorite subject. Ask us about ourselves. We'll talk about ourselves all day. Ask us anything. You meet someone for a coffee, first thing you say is, hello, how are you? You don't say, hello, you're fine. We ask the question, how are you? You, how are you? And what that does is it creates a chemical reaction in the old noggin. The brain starts going into overdrive and it creates dopamine. Dopamine either makes you feel good or it makes you feel bad. Thankfully, in this case, it makes you feel good. So when you ask somebody, how are they? You've sparked off that they're talking about me moment, and dopamine's having a little party in their brain, and everybody's having a great time. Another thing it does is when we ask questions, it triggers another trait in human beings, which I love. We love to answer questions. What's the capital of Uruguay? You're already thinking. Even if you don't know it, you're thinking, oh shit, what's the capital of Uruguay? Damn, what's the capital of Uruguay? I know it. Oh, it begins with a B. No, it begins with a U. You're starting to answer these questions. If you don't know the answer, you still try. I'll give you the example. If you're ever driving around in an unfamiliar town, right? And you're going, where am I? I don't know how to get it. Where's the M1 motorway? I don't know where that is. Oh, there's a local. Wind down the window. Hello, local person. Can you tell me where the M1 motorway is, please? Turns out they're not local. And they go, oh, man, the M1. I'm not from around here. Hang on. I don't know. I know, though, if you go down there, the town is... They don't know the answer, but they try and help you out by giving you what they think might be the answer. So when you ask why, it opens up the personal part of people's brains that we love to talk about ourselves, and also the ability and the trait that we love to answer questions. Two things already. The third thing, ownership. Everything about you, you own. Every single thing about yourself, you own. It's the only thing nobody can take away from you. You can take away all your belongings, can take away everything else, but they can never take away who you are, and that's ownership. When you own something, you take care of it, right? You take care of what you own. Saturday mornings, any part of suburbia, any part of the world, you see people out cleaning their cars, waxing them down, making them all nice and shiny, because they own the car. They're not cleaning the next door neighbor guy's car. It's his car, he owns that. This is mine, I own it. Ownership makes you look after what you have in life. Ownership, you, and asking questions. There was a study done by the University of California, and it said, there are lots of studies, but this is the one I always latch onto because I like it and it serves my purpose. It said women speak 20,000 words a day. Men, 7,000 words a day. You can figure that out any you want. I've met men and women who've spoken more and spoken less. The point is, that's a lot of words, right? That's an awful lot of words. When you ask the question why, and you do it on purpose, you put the spotlight on those words. When you think about the words you're using, I call it the words you choose and how you use them. I thought that one up myself. I was rather pleased with that. I thought I was happy being 21 RTE. I made that one up myself. The words you choose and how you use them. It's also the thinking behind the talking. So when you're communicating a message, make it about the person so that they're involved in it, give them ownership of it, and give them questions to answer. Give them questions to answer. Montevideo, by the way, capital of Uruguay. So why is why the best question? Good question.